Hey, lovely. In this video, I'm going to share my story with you so that you understand in depth, like the transformation that I went through and how I am going to coach you to the same results that I'm having so that you can relate to me. If you have any questions about it, you can also ask them on the calls. And I want to be very vulnerable here so that you can in depth understand my own process and transformation and see how to apply that for you and where the teachings and learnings from this program are coming from so that you can implement them feeling really connected to it, really aligned and ready to do the same shift that I did in the past. So let me start with actually my name. So my name is Mary. I'm the creator of the Rainbow Woman brand and the founder of the Intuitive Entrepreneurs Tribe. So within the first 6 months of starting my career in this high ticket coaching industry, I closed deals worth 500,000 in sales. And that's even though I was afraid that sales is something manipulative. And 6 years ago, I said to my best friend, the last thing in the world I would do is sales. Often what we shout out the loudest is what we really desire to do, right? But 6 years ago, I had so much resistance against it. I had low self-worth. I had absolutely no confidence in myself. And I learned to overcome all my limiting beliefs and breaking the patterns of self-sabotage with a tool named shadow work and shadow play and the emotional embodiment of self-worth. So 15 years ago, I still had an eating disorder, and along the journey of spiritual self-development, I freed myself from the mental constraints and programs around that and around much more. So I stepped into empowering myself. I stepped into becoming the confident woman that I am today, and I stepped into figuring out what I really want to do in this life, becoming self-loving and using these ancient medicines like soul retrieval, a shamanic version for like calling back a piece of your soul that's been lost through trauma, and actually Eastern chakra balancing techniques for raising the Kundalini, our life force energy, to really bring myself back in my life. And while this was like the inner journey, making multiple 5 figures a month in my business consistently and overcoming existential fears, money blocks, and all those stories is like the external reward I saw on that journey. So I'm leading my business nowadays from a very feminine, playful, joyful approach, allowing myself to be seen and stepping into that high level lifestyle that I desire. Instead of like holding myself small or not allowing myself to have the desires I want to, I am fully stepping in gracefully, attracting these things in my life and doing the steps to actually make them happen. So I'm on this journey with you, and I will guide you from low self-worth and fear of failure into becoming the confident, radiant goddess that you want to be. From being overwhelmed and self-sabotaging and like not moving forward on your path to having an aligned business and balanced chakras, from hustle and pressure energy into that playful, joyful, feminine vibe, and from being insecure about your offer and sales into having successful conversions and making money with integrity. So we will apply on this journey, we will apply mental reprogramming, shadow work, like I mentioned, and soul retrieval in the moments where we are holding a sacred space on our group coaching calls. And we will integrate and implement the best strategies in this industry for marketing and sales for the moments where you're ready to take aligned action. And I learned to close my sales calls with the art that I call sacred sales. So really fully stepping into empowering my clients and helping them to have a life-changing transformation on the sales call with me already, so that I'm really helping them to get out of the victim mindset into an empowered state and making decisions, and using my empathy and my spiritual gifts, my clairvoyance, to actually X-ray objections way before making an offer, so that I can spot these moments of self-sabotage and show them to the other one before it becomes an objection against working with me and against walking on their path. So that is like the balance that I'm seeing there. And I learned to build a business in complete alignment with my intuition and teaching you the intuitive launch strategy so that you can get cash flow positive in your business as soon as possible. So you're not having to build a program for months and months and months. And when everything is finalized, you're getting out to just then realize this is not what your client wants and that's not helpful for them. We want you to launch something at the very beginning of your business, make money with that so that you're having a stable cash flow. You can dedicate your time in your business. You can pay your bills and your future business grows from that kind of money. And you're working with your clients in refining and defining and creating the best program for them, because that's what you want to do. So you've been called to step into this program with me, then I am sure that we have like similar experiences along our paths. And I really felt like in the beginning of my journey, I still felt like I wanted to help the whole world. I wasn't that self-sacrificing. I wanted to help everybody. I was feeling that there was more in life for me. Like I always wanted a special life. I always wanted more in life. But I also wanted to do something that's really aligned and fulfilled and not coming from ego or greed. And I felt the calling, but I didn't have the clarity of what exactly to do. So instead of like following my own path and my calling, because I didn't have the clarity or I didn't have the confidence to walk that way, I was losing my energy everywhere, like for everyone and in everything outside. And I felt unworthy of receiving anything back in return. So there was a lot of like conditioning blocks that really held me stuck in a position of not being who I want to be, but also not knowing how to get there. And on top of that, I didn't believe in myself. I believed in life, I believed in the universe, but I didn't believe in myself or in my own capacities. I was people pleasing, I was self sacrificing, I was codependent in every human interaction. And all of that kept me from stepping into my purpose. So, by far, at that point where I was like in that self created prison, by far, I was not even thinking about having success or making successful money, but I was like trying to find myself and trying to free myself in the very first step. And then throughout my journey of self-discovery, of reconnecting with myself, breaking all those patterns and programs and bringing that mental freedom, my business building went through 7 stages and 7 steps for aligning this inner expansion and self-connection and freedom and self-expression with building a business, so that my kundalini, like I said, my life energy was raising. I was becoming more and more of my true self from roots to crown, like aligning my energy. But on the same way of doing that, I was able to take the steps of building my business without burning out or without feeling overwhelmed, as every next step felt exactly like a natural thing to do. So my business was purely guided from intuition, and all I needed to do was walk my path, be myself. And through that, like having my business as a heartfelt expression of myself, sharing my gifts and sharing my wisdom and expressing myself through my business, so that I had like this internal and external reflection of myself. And that's exactly what I'm sharing here with you. These 7 steps that I discovered for aligning the chakras with business building and bringing you in being more and more of your true authentic self. And along of that, unraveling yourself, creating already that big business vision for having an impact with your skills and with your gifts in the exact way that you desire it to have. And these 7 steps, that's what you will get here in my VIP coaching program, Path to Prosperity. So stepping into that, I am now living such a grateful life. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm really comfortable with being myself. I'm living in an amazing Lakeview apartment. I have marble floors. That's something I manifested. So my whole apartment is laid out with marble. I am having a business that I absolutely love growing. So every morning I jump out of bed, I feel inspired, I'm happy to work on it. I am confident, I am centered, I am myself, I am feminine, I am playful, I am fulfilled, I'm provided with multiple 5-figure months in my business. I'm growing my wealth and I'm having an impact in somebody's life every day. I see that my work is touching somebody's lives and changing their lives for the better. And that gives me the biggest heart expansion. That makes me feel so fulfilled, inspired, motivated, grateful, emotional, like bringing up tears of gratitude for life putting me in that position. And it's not like me, I didn't fight for it, or I didn't like make this happen for myself. I was unraveling everything that held me back from being in that position that was designed for me. And I know there's a similar or the same, or however you want to see it, but there is this position for you in your life. And what we want to do is unravel you from everything that's holding you back from that fulfilled position. And in the beginning, let's share my story. In the beginning, I tried to sell my offer for very low tickets. So the very first time I sold something was 50 euros for a 3-hour shadow work ceremony. And in the moment the woman wanted to pay me, I was still like, oh my God, am I allowed to take money? So I was completely undercharging and I still didn't feel sure about receiving money at all. And then I stepped into that a bit more and more, got more comfortable with actually receiving money for my gift. And then sometime later, I think it was like 2 years later, I had like a price for pricing my ceremonies of around about 3-4 hours for 300 euros. So that was already like a kind of a growth, right? Like from 50 and not wanting to even receive that to confidently selling my ceremonies for 300 euros. And at that time I was living in Ibiza, so I sold like 300 euros packages and some single session. And I was hustling my ass off, guys. I was living on that beautiful island, but I was in existential fears and I was like hustling my ass off to make it happen. And I ended up having like 500 euros every month, which is great. 500 euros being self-employed for the first time. I was proud on myself, but also that's nothing sustainable, right? I can't live from 500 euros. And I was already hustling my ass off. So I didn't know how should I produce even more money. It was impossible. I was doing everything that I knew at that time, and it was not enough. And then through the next 6 months from there, I stepped into high ticket and I understood that it's the same amount of energy and time you need to sell like a 300 euro ceremony or sell a $3,000 or euro program. So I understood like, okay, if I am already investing all my time and energy in finding clients and then I'm ending up at 500, if I have higher prices, the theory was I will have like 5,000 in my bank account instead of 500. And then I stepped into charging high ticket, and my first high ticket offer was 1,111 euro. And I made the sale exactly how I learned to make it, and it worked. And I was surprised. I was super surprised. I didn't expect it to work. But then my first client signed up. And after celebrating, like, oh my God, it works. It's like, I have my first client. Oh my God, life changed, right? It dropped and it hit me with pressure and with overwhelm and with insecurity. So I felt like, oh my God, I will never ever be able to fulfill what I promised. Like, what if that person won't be happy? What if I took their money and I have nothing to give for that? I was so insecure and so afraid to fail, actually. But as we already made the deal, I committed with all my heart, like all my heart, all my energy. I was like thinking about my program 24/7 just to make sure that I was pleasing that customer and that I was delivering and really truly helping him. It was a man at that time. And then 3 months later, that same client told me that this investment was the best thing he ever did, and that it was changing his life, and that he can see how like the work we did now is only opening his new life, and that he will take the teachings and the learnings and the integrations for probably the rest of his life. And that's what I promised, right? That somebody who works with me gets this kind of transformation. And he actually confirmed that. And he was so happy and grateful. And he said, I completely brought him back to center. And he feels like he's so good now with himself. He felt fulfilled and happy. And it was really a blessing for me. So my confidence grew. But also I saw that the amount of energy I used for that client would only allow me to have like 3 clients a month max. And 3 clients paying 1,111 euros each for a 3-month package would end me at making $1,000 or euros a month. Better than 500, still not sufficient, right? So now I had like solved the price problem, but I met like the capacity problem, and I saw that my energetic capacity wouldn't allow any more clients than that. So at that point, then I understood that I needed to move into group. And I also know from studies that group is actually, a group container helps people to get better results, because we don't feel we are on our own journeys, but we have that encouraging, motivating exchange, and we are learning from somebody else, and we are making quantum leaps because we see what's possible for the other participants. So I understood that I needed to move into group, and that I can even charge higher price for it, because I understood that that's why the standard price of the industry is even higher than what I charged before, because it was not sustainable still. So then at that point, I sold my offer for 3K, and that came with a different hurdle. I needed to learn how to sell that, because now in the beginning, the 1K was something I could still make sense of, but 3K was a whole different level for me. And I needed to learn the skills to sell that, the confidence, and like how to close at a high ticket level. And my biggest problem was that I didn't want to take responsibility for somebody else's decision. So I didn't really step in my leadership in the beginning. And it was until I realized that a soul who's drawn to me and who's in a sales call with me, they want my help and guidance to overcome their objections. They want me to help them break free from their limitations and from their self-sabotage. Because if they could do it on their own, they would not need my help. So I was sending the people off, basically being like, oh, if you can't make it on your own, I'm not going to help you. That was the pretext of me not stepping in my leadership. I was having sales calls, making an offer. The person would face like rejection. I didn't want to take responsibility for them. So I was more like, yeah, so once you phased out, if you really want to do it, I'm here to help you. And then I sent them off, because I was afraid to making false decisions, or I was afraid to leading, actually, to leadership and taking, like owning my leadership qualities. And that's bad service. So that's really not helpful. A soul comes to me for helping them, and I'm sending them off like, yeah, do it on your own, and then we can work together. So when I made that kind of shift, I started applying my gifts and my shadow work capacities on sales calls to really help the clients break free from the self-sabotage, self-limitation, and patterns, which usually are the objections, and help them break free from that, so that they could go through the transformation already on the call with me. And then stepping in my program would really be the successful implementation of becoming their better version, their desired higher self, however you want to call it, but really stepping in their full potential. And that's how I made like sales my specific art of mirroring the client's limitations and helping them to break free, so that the moment they break free, the sales is done and they are actually in that energetic capacity of getting results in my program. So I wouldn't pressure them. I wouldn't like push them, convince them, anything like that. I would help them break free from anything they told themselves why they wouldn't be ready. And then they could jump on and would actually get results because they were ready. So this is like how I help like with sacred sales to help my clients and help my business. And that's exactly what I'm teaching my clients now, like how to do that. So that somebody who's on a call with me can see what is the limitation, can overcome it, and then take aligned action because they are already free from it. And now they are at the implementation phase of freeing their highest potential. So learning the best skills in the industry and then figuring out my own method, I invested more than 100K in coaching myself until I finally grew into that confident, intuitive, and authentic business owner that I am nowadays. And that's what you're getting from me because I am so conscious of my own process that I can actually teach this to you without you going on the same journey for years of learning. So I think that's the point where my inner work was done. So I was good at sales calls. I was closing every other month with 100% conversion rate for my business. So whenever a call came, I embraced it. I helped that person. We made a sale happily ever after. But guess what? I was still invisible. I was magically attracting clients, manifesting clients, receiving them when they were coming, but I was not actually going out and making an offer. I was still insecure of putting myself out there and marketing. And again, it was still not sustaining. So I had like now a 3K sale every other month, but that still was, it was at the edge of like, I can survive with this, but it still was a pain, of course. It was not that lush, fulfilled life that I was dreaming of. And then I was not putting my value out there. So it was like on the inside, everything was solved, but I was not shining it on the outside. So it was done when I stepped into marketing. And I had done marketing previously on my career, but this time, like applying it to authentically show up for my clients with a clear content strategy. And that's where I learned that a content strategy is something that can be done with intuition and that should suit me and my offer individually and personally. And in a way that I am speaking myself unfiltered, but also making sure that the audience can see me, that I was expanding my audience and that I was converting leads into happy clients. So that was new for me at that point, but I really figured out like what is the right way to have a content strategy that is meeting my personal needs and my audience, and also teaching my clients like how to apply that to their own business. So you're here for a very unique kind of person and kind of souls for your mission. So you need to speak to exactly those people. And that's what I figured out for myself and how to use the same method for my clients. Because marketing is slow sales, actually. If you do it right, you bring your people on the sales calls with you and they are already, they bonded, they build trust in you and your method. They are sure that it works or why it works. And they also, from your pre-qualifications in your marketing, they understand that they would be a good fit for you. So then the call is really about them wanting to know if you also agree that they are a good fit and if they are ready for implementing. So they are more like some questions left or some objections left, and they want to handle them with you. Actually, they want to hear your opinion because they already see you as an expert, or they understood why they want to work with you. And that's when you become value visible, and that's when you're really having people coming to your calls already being sold. So that is why I say slow sales. It's like over time, they're already sold on the moment they're hopping on a call with you through your marketing. And of course, then once you master that and you're visible, you're converting clients, you know how to do sales, you have an amazing offer, there's still ups and downs in every business. And the overall course should be that even though it's up and down, it's still like having a tendency upwards. That's the same in life, right? My life was very up and down, but I saw that the lows were getting higher every time. So that the lowest low was never reached again. And the next time I was on a low, it was already higher than the previous low. And the same way it is with business, if you do it in an aligned way. So I'm having consistent multiple 5 figures in my business. And when I was working on my mindset and my inner state, and that was great for growth, but then I didn't see results on the outside. That's what I shared before. And when I then was like focusing on the actual skills and strategies for business growth, it would still depend on my inner state, on my mood, on my personal process, or on galactic portals or stellar alignments that was determining if I could show up in my business or not. So when there was a Mercury retrograde, my business would crash because I was lying on the couch with my internal process just to exaggerate. And only when I fused both of it, like the inner journey, but also the outer path of business building as an aligned expression of myself, that's when I was able to scale to that 10K a month, 15K a month, 20K a month, and having that even 20K days, and having that consistent sustainability and luxury in my business. So if you are compassionate, if you are empathic, if you're conscious, spiritual, intuitive, if all of these words resonate with you and you're done with ignoring your inner voice, you simply can't force yourself to do anything anymore that doesn't feel right for you, and you don't want to give up on believing that there's good in this world, you're ready to take empowered action, you're ready to live your full potential, and you're ready to bring the change on the planet that you meant to bring, then I'm so happy to guide you here with your very unique path to prosperity. I believe good people do good things, and it is my personal mission to help shift the wealth of the planet into the hands of exactly those souls so that we can together create a new paradigm on Earth. And that is what I'm here to do. So if you have a calling to be on that path with me and you want to know if this journey, these 7 steps, this chakra aligned business building is the right thing for you, then I'm so happy for you to book a call with me and join me on the path to prosperity so that I am guiding you there. And I will guide you from financially unstable and living in that existential fears to stable high income months of multiple 5 figures, from not showing up and not fully expressing yourself to offering your value on the market and positioning yourself, from weak boundaries and low self-esteem to confident leadership and successful sales, and from low self-worth to an aligned business to self-approval, so that the approval for your dreams and for your fulfillment can be felt in your life on every step you're taking. From any limitations, any holding yourself small and invisible, to finally having the impact that you're called to have. So I'm here to share my rainbow medicine with you, and knowing the degree I have in motivational psychology, using that knowledge together with the strategies I learned, I know that we will get you there. So book a call with us, jump on. It's completely free for you. It's completely an opportunity to explore and for you to tune in and really feel what is the right next step for you. That's what we want to help you with, to figure out what is the aligned action you need to take, coming up with that strategy. And if that strategy leads you to me to the path to prosperity, I'm more than happy to guide you there. Lots of love to you and see you soon.